Hello my gorgeous Cancer, my name is Sasha Bonasin and I'm a psychic medium, and this is your monthly horoscope tarot card reading, and it's for you my gorgeous Cancerini, it's for you my gorgeous Cancer, and it's for April 2021. And let me tell you this my gorgeous Cancerini, because you know what, you're gonna have a massive, huge, enormous moment this month, and this will mean to you so much, in particular when it comes to this clarity. You wanted this clarity so much. You wanted this clarity badly, because this has created an obstacle that prevented you to move on with a certain aspects of your life that are really important to you. So this is the clarity that I'm talking about, my gorgeous Cancerini, and it's most certainly to do with your life. It's most certainly to do with looking at a really big picture, but also finding yourself in the middle of the crossroads at the same time without even realizing. This is very important month when it comes to you my gorgeous Cancerini, because suddenly you're gonna move on, and when you move on, I'm talking about you making a decision, but also at the same time doing the most important thing that you could possibly do at this very moment in time, when it comes to basically making sure you know that certain aspects about your future planning stay intact, because almost immediately there is a wonderful flow of energy which is going to come through, which is going to come forward, and it is going to take place at around the mid-April 2021, when you are most certainly going to get this clarity on your life purpose. And when I say clarity on your life purpose, this is very, very big, and it is a very important moment that it's felt completely differently. Almost immediately you feel this fresh energy, which is at the same time just really basically going to play an important role when it comes to you starting to feel that creativity at the same time. But I repeat, it's most certainly going to be very much so evident from the mid-April until the end of that month. You see this, my gorgeous Cancerini? I just have this wish, you know, just to take this oracle card right now and just to focus on the actual April and you, my gorgeous Cancerini, and how April is going to work out for you. And this is your oracle card right now. Okay, let me just focus, my gorgeous Cancerini, my gorgeous Cancer, and it's for April 2021. You see, do things that you think that are the right things to basically do, because as I said, just remember that if certain things don't make sense to you, then don't do these things that don't make sense to you. It is more important than ever to use this purity of your own energy, and the only way to use the purity of your own energy is to allow yourself to be yourself. And you are about to reach a very high level of your subconscious mind, because you're gonna realize how important it is to follow your own intuition. And most certainly, if something doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. You simply need to move on. This is going to, you know, your intuition is going to be guiding you very much so throughout the whole of April, and your own intuition is also going to be playing an important part when I said before about the crossroads and things like that. But at the same time, you just need to allow yourself to be yourself, which means that on another hand, a lot is going to be happening throughout this month, and you need to ignore anything that doesn't have to do anything to do with your personal situation, because that way you're just going to be giving your energy away. So therefore, it's going to be more difficult for you to kind of focus when it comes to your own perspective. This is very, very important, my gorgeous Cancerini. And then on another hand, see, look at this, courage. This is very, very important. Just remember that you're going to need to have a courage this month. This is purely to do with your future planning, and it's purely to do with an important continuation in your life. So what is this courage that you're going to need to have? Again, it's to do with you and just following your own intuition and following your own path. And this is the best thing to do and the best way forward, and most certainly towards the inner peace as well, because a lot that you have been worrying about, that you have been thinking about, things have been creating like blockages, your energetic blockages, so you kind of prevent yourself from thinking in a certain way, and that affects your way of planning. So this is why it's so important to pay attention to your inner peace. So also when it comes to like doing things, you know, that can better your life, like doing things like meditation, grounding, enjoying yourself, it's very important to pay attention to that balance throughout the month. On another hand, when it comes to your number, my gorgeous Cancerini in numerology, and when it comes to the month of April, your number is number 707. This is a quite significant number, which means that twice this month you are going to have a very kind of like an unusual experience, powerful experience. And the one experience that I've already mentioned is the actual clarity that you are going to have at around the mid-month. Towards the end of the month, there is another very interesting experience that you are going to have at the same time. And this is going to help you to understand things that you couldn't understand before. But it's only going to be the beginning of the project, of the new plan and the wish that it's about to manifest, you know, but it's just to do with you kind of being firm with yourself at the same time and doing things that you want to do. Number 707 in numerology also means, you know, that you are gonna start a certain process this month, and this process will be more important than you can possibly imagine. It's to do with a new beginning, it's to do with a new start, but at the same time it's to do with a rather daring situation. You are going to find yourself completely unplanned, and this is where things are going to become quite interesting when it comes to you, my gorgeous Cancerini. You're going to find yourself like being completely unplanned, but at the same time it's going to require from you to respond in a certain way. And this is the daring situation that I'm talking about. This is the daring situation that it's at the same time going to really create the moment of bravery, which is going to push you towards the particular situation that caused delays and the lack of motivation. And now this is about to have a really nice turnaround, and it's all about the inspiration and potential. Inspiration and potential, inspiration and potential. These words are very, very powerful, much more powerful than they actually sound, in particular when it comes to having that amount of energy within us and just allowing ourselves to be ourselves, allowing ourselves to do what we want to do in order to like kind of move on with our lives. You know, it's about the inspiration and potential, but also is about doing, you know, the right thing when it comes to your own practicality, financial situation, when it comes to your future planning and things like that. I want to say to you that you are most certainly going to have a really remarkable, amazing, mind-blowing opportunity. Number 707 numerology means that you are going to have an amazing opportunity by the end of the month. And you know, what you need to understand is that you just need to be bold, courageous, and very optimistic indeed, because now it's most certainly time to take the actual action, but also it's about you doing things that you love, doing things that you like. The more you do this, the more you're gonna create. The more you do this, the more you're gonna increase your personal vibration and things like that. And the more you do this, the more closer you're going to be to your own personal vision, because you are, my baby, is going to start a process this month, and that process is going to have a second stage and the second place when it comes to the actual July 2021. Now these number 7s are absolutely mind-blowing, because let me tell you that at the same time throughout the months you're going to feel pushed like towards the certain things, and you're not going to understand where this push is coming from. And also don't be surprised if you feel like, oh, someone is watching you and things like that, because number 7 is repeating so much, and this is just the first stage. And the second stage of the beginning that you are going to have, it's going to be evident in, as I said, in July 2021. So this is why it's important to understand that you're gonna feel like a guidance around you, like you're probably gonna feel like somebody's watching you every now and then. You might find like a little signs. You may feel like find like a little you know, like a signs and synchronicities that you should be paying attention to, because every single time you see the single numbers again repeating throughout the months, you must make sure what was on your mind then and there. You must make sure what was on your mind like the very first thing in the morning. you must make sure, like, basically what was creating you the blockage and the problem, because these are signs and synchronicities that you are going to have at the time when you see the numbers repeating 777, 555, 444, 222, for example. At the same time, you know, this is your own connection with your own subconscious mind, which is at the same time guiding you and bringing you an important message, what to do, what the next step would be, but in particular when it comes to the certain blockage and the problem and the negativity that was at the time the part of your mind. On another hand, you know, just remember, like, basically there is going to be the certain hidden enemy that you're going to become aware. And I like this so much. I know I'm sounding a little bit like a dark Lala, but the fact that you're going to be kind of aware of the hidden enemy, it's actually going to be really good for you, because, you know, some of you are going to be surprised, and some of you are going to be like, oh yeah, I just knew it exactly, you know, and things like that. But a certain snake, certain enemy, it's most certainly going to become obvious here, and that is going to work really brilliant for you, because somehow that certain enemy that you're going to become aware of, your eyes are going to be rather wide open, that enemy that you will become aware of this month is going to be brilliant for you, because you will realize that that part of this progress or process was creating an obstacle in itself. And you just having your eyes wide open, this is it. This is already, you just having your eyes open, you know, towards this situation, with this part of your life, it's going to work remarkable for you, because it is going to redirect you. And to some of you are going to be redirected, and some of you are going to be, you know, it's all about this strong and very powerful confirmation that you're going to have. Just remember, bling bling, it's your mind, it's your intuition, it's your third psychic eye. If something is telling you that something doesn't make sense, then you just have to, like, really follow your own intuition, you know. This is what you need to do. This is all going to become quite evident here, but it's an important time, and I don't know how to stress how important this actually is. So that's why I'm saying so many times about your own intuition. I've said this so many times on purpose, because it's important, in particular when it comes to April, May as well, but April is going to be like really big mama when it comes to you following your own intuition, and that's why I said this, okay? On another hand, you know, you are going to find yourself like kind of doing quite a lot throughout the months and achieving quite a lot, and most certainly now you will be able to find this energy flow quite beneficial, because it's coming after the time and after the stage and after the period where maybe certain aspects of your life haven't been moving on so quickly and so fast. So this is going to become quite evident, but at the same time you just need to remember that the need for balance and to bring things that makes you feel good in your life, it's very, very important. On another hand, if you can connect with the people and reconnect with the people in your life in general, it would connect and reconnect with relationships, and the people in your life would be fantastic. Someone is bringing a very interesting surprise. Somebody who is in your life is going to really surprise you. They will tell you something, you're going to hear this specific information, and you're going to be like, oh my god, you know, it's going to be like a little bit of surprise. But then at the same time, it's important because it is going to give you an idea. It is going to help you to recognize something, but then at the same time, it's going to kind of be the beginning of a very important idea in your life. It's going to come from somebody who knows you really well, who understands you really well, who's going to surprise you with what they're going to say. But at the same time, surely after that, you're going to realize you will be pointed towards a certain direction, you know. First of all, it's not going to make sense, but then later on, it's going to be like, oh, okay, interesting. It's like this because you're meant to do this. You're meant to be focusing on this. You're meant to be paying attention to this because it's coming from somebody who is really strongly the part of your spiritual journey. So this is all going to make sense because it's just all kind of going to point down towards a certain direction, and you are going to like it. Let me tell you this, you know, you are going to start the progress, the process that is going to take the second stage, the next step, the next stage in July 2021. So just keep this in mind because it's going to be much more important and significant than what you can possibly imagine. Perhaps it's going to happen like a tiny little thing, but then it's going to turn into something absolutely enormous. But it's to do with you starting something and working on something and just like kind of thinking about the ideas and how you can kind of expand your plans and things that you are kind of finding yourself at the moment. You will see that the power is within you. On another hand, just make sure that you understand that there is going to be maybe somebody's going to try to wind you up this month. Somebody almost like, oh my God, it looks like somebody may want to try to kind of have a little conflict with you, but this is purely going to happen because you're going to have completely different opinions. Just try to kind of like, and now when you're aware of it, it's brilliant for you to understand that this is going to be the part of your little testy little process. So if somebody is kind of trying to wind you up with opposing opinions, it's to do with opinions being completely different to you. Remember that this is part of your task, this is part of your challenge. Just rise above the situation, and that's going to be the most amazing, most cleverest thing that you could possibly do, because shortly after that you're going to see the reward. And if you reward, an interesting reward that is going to be connected to it, and if you respond otherwise, then things just go towards the completely different situation that you wouldn't really like. On another hand, my gorgeous Cancerini, now when it comes to the actual health, I want to say to you, it's very important to just pay attention to your bones, pay attention to your skeleton. If you can like really make sure that you're taking natural supplements like a magnesium and calcium would be absolutely fantastic. Calcium and magnesium is a must in combination with the natural vitamin D. This is the combination that you would really need for healthy bones. On another hand, what else I was going to say, you still need to pay attention to your immune system. So if you take on every single day, if you take organic acerola cherry powder, I said it many times before, 1 glass of water, 1 teaspoon organic acerola cherry powder, and drink it alongside natural vitamin D and alongside natural zinc as well. This combination is wonderful, it's mind-blowing, and it's going to boost your immune system. Organic acerola cherry powder is basically the natural source of vitamin C, and just 1 little teaspoon has got like, oh my God, so much vitamin C. It's unbelievable. But the best of all, it's natural. On another hand, I can see that inside your mouth, your gums are going to be quite sensitive as well. So you've got a double whammy here again, because natural zinc, what I've already mentioned, and natural vitamin C are going to help you with your gum healing. One more thing, when it comes to your skin, try to avoid, your skin is going to be sensitive in general, so try to avoid like creams with chemicals, and try to get like a natural creams. If you can eat the cream, then you can put it on your body as well. And on another hand, protect yourself from the actual deodorants with aluminium. Try to avoid deodorants with aluminium. Try to get deodorants without aluminium, so that way your pores are going to be breathing, as opposed to being blocked, and then you just end up with the concoction of unnecessary chemicals in your body. If you're on any other medications, if you're pregnant or if you're breastfeeding, you just need to check with your doctor, or you just need to check with your GP. Only your doctor or GP can tell you whether this can interact with your existing medications, my gorgeous Cancerini, or not. So now, my gorgeous Cancerini, going on the very first date, but before I do this, I would like to suggest you highly peer it, or it's even called like a fool's gold. It's absolutely beautiful, something to protect yourself nicely and beautifully throughout April and May, purely because this is it's not only like a beautiful, look at how beautiful this is, it's gorgeous, and it's also like an extra quality specimen, of course, and I want to say that it's remarkable when it comes to like our planning, when it comes to our way of thinking, when it comes to our intelligence, when it comes to our intellect. It helps us to connect to ourselves on this level, so therefore it helps us so much in order to even more understand our situation, what to do, how to respond, and most importantly, when it comes to responding to people and situation, quickly, like sometimes we can feel like we haven't got this energy, because they can be like draining our energy from us quite a lot, and then that affects us and our way of thinking. So this is fantastic against all sorts of negative energy and negative vibrations as well. As I said, it's going to enhance your memory, creativity, optimism, and mental stability. I highly suggest you this, my gorgeous Cancerini, to have throughout April and May. Maybe you can have it around you can have it like in your little bag. I know it's not really tiny, but it's absolutely beautiful, and it's something that I would highly recommend you. And this is, if you would like to buy this, you can get this from my store, and by buying from my channel, you're also supporting my channel and you keep me going. Okay, so the link to buy this is in the description below indeed. So this is something that I would highly recommend you, and also is fantastic fantastic when it comes to the spiritual growth, when it comes to the courage, you know, when it comes to self-esteem. It just helps on so many different levels, you know, when it comes to planning, decision making. It's amazing. Okay, this is something I highly recommend you. So now the very first date, my gorgeous Cancerini, it's actually going to be on the 5th of April. Now, do you know what? Now it's all about the actual future planning, my babies. It's about the future planning when it comes to the future opportunities ahead. From the 5th of April, in particular, when it comes to the actual 21st of, in between the 5th of April and the 21st of April, this is the time that will be very strong when it comes to your own personal connection. And it's going to bring you this balance where you're going to become aware of the future opportunity ahead, you know, future opportunities ahead. And this is brilliant, but at the same time, you see, you need to be careful here, because this is like a big mama. As soon as you become aware of the future opportunities ahead, I need you to become aware of the fact that this is going to be connected to your weak point, you know, something like it's going to be like, oh my god, something is going to be connected to your like weak point, which almost immediately means it's going to drain your energy like there is no tomorrow. And once your energy is drained, it's going to affect your way of thinking, way of planning, and then this is where your self-esteem and confidence gets affected. So this is what I want you to understand, that you are going to feel like a little bit of weakness. It's almost going to create like the certain obstacle that is going to kind of prevent you to go with a certain speed. So this is something, food for thoughts, something that I need you to remember. On another hand, you know, just remember that this is very much so what you are doing right now. It's going to bring you an important extreme comfort into your life, but in particular when it comes to the actual financial security. Okay, so these are the things that I'm talking about. On another hand, I know that this is going to be like a little bit emotional time, because you know you're gonna kind of like maybe feel a little bit sad and a little bit negative, a little bit low and a little bit down as well, and purely because there will be a very strong connection in between you now and in between the certain moment in the past. You know, perhaps you lost someone, or perhaps, you know, like there was a very sad, something's happened to somebody in your life, but it's normally to do with the loss and the sadness, you know, that suddenly you're going to start feeling a very strong connection. Something is going to remind you of somebody who you maybe have lost, you know, who you lost in your life. Something is going to remind you of it, and it's going to open your eyes, and it's going to create this connection, you know. And this is nothing unusual, because you are going through your own spiritual growth. So normally when that happens, it means that there is on another hand, you know, it's like a mirroring reaction when it comes to you, first of all, feeling like a little bit sad. But then again, you know that this is to do with your own kind of personal growth. You know, this is to do with like just time and waiting. But it's not only that, but something else is going to come through this. This is going to remind you of the specific part of your life that you should be paying attention to, and it's connected to your own personal growth that is actually going to come from challenges. So just pay attention, because this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. On another hand, a certain person will need you, my gorgeous Cancerini. Certain person will need you, and you will be the one who is having this absolutely golden advice in the term of healing when it comes to so many different aspects, and your advice is going to be like pretty much so much more important than you could possibly imagine. Karmically, this will get back to you as in form of the actual reward. The second important date, my gorgeous Cancerini, it's going to be on the 21st of April. Now the 21st of April, it's all about, you know what, it's like this is what I was talking about. It's all about you realizing that it's time to head in a new direction, This doesn't have to be necessarily, oh, I'm just going to start everything new, or I'm just going to begin this, I'm going to start this for the first time ever. No, baby, no. This new direction, it's also pretty much so to do with what the next step is going to be, what the next stage is going to be. But it's also coming after the time that was very long, and it affected you in a certain way. It slowed you down. So this is why it feels in a certain way, and this is what you need to understand and have your eyes open, that it may not necessarily mean like, oh yeah, just, you know, time to head in a completely new direction. No, baby, no. It's time to move on. It's time to go on the next step. Whether you're working, now this is the time to think about the next step and promotion. What can you do to change this. You know, if you're looking for work now, my gorgeous Cancerinis, from the 21st until the end of that month, you just go for it. Just look for work, you see. If you're retired, you know, this is also going to have such an important, this is going to be very, very important part of your life that is going to become absolutely superb when it comes to you facing something, realizing something, and then at the same time going forward with your life and doing what you wanted to do and make this continuation very significant. It's to do with the actual clarity on your life purpose, what I said before. This is to do with your clarity on your life purpose, and you know, you're going to be wondering something, should I do this or not? Maybe this, maybe that, you know, but then again, you know, it needs to come from you, and in your heart you will know what to do. It's pretty much so to do with the departure also at the same time, but the journey of your life, which is going to start here, because you're going to find yourself in an advanced stage when it comes to an unknown stage and area in your life. Lots of different elements are going to be connected to this, that it's actually unknown, but at the same time, you know, it's going to require a little bit of alteration when it comes to your life. And this alteration that I'm talking about is going to come through you just basically offering services in general on the 21st of April until the end of that month. The more you offer services towards the specific goals in your life, the more you're going to get out of it. It's like a little baby that it's going to start growing beautifully, and it's going to grow so fast really quickly, only if you allow it, you know. And this is what it's all about, the actual devotion. It's all about you being like pretty much so offering services and efforts towards the specific goals in your life. It's important. On another hand, what else I was going to recommend you, my gorgeous Cancerini, it will be this gorgeous Carnelian. I absolutely love Carnelian, and it's fantastic when it comes to courage. It restores vitality and motivation, and it's brilliant when it comes to the actual positivity in life, and also is a good luck stone. So every time when you find yourself like you know, like a little bit wondering, oh, you're not too sure, oh my God, am I doing the right thing, and this and that, when you need to talk about important things, when you need to discuss something really important, when you need to express yourself in the best possible way, you know, sometimes, as I said before, we just end up with like an energy vampires, and sometimes these energy vampires, they don't necessarily steal our energy on purpose, you know, that sometimes there can be so much going on in their lives, and then they're just projecting this energy. It's a deep complex, you know, and it does affect us in a way where our energy is drained, and then we are not as effective. And when it comes to communication and expressing ourselves, I'm telling you that there is one important stage that you're going to have in April and May when you're going to need to express yourself without any blockages or anything like that. So that's why every single time when that happens, you just have a little Carnelian with you, beautiful little Cornelia, and that's for April and May will be quite significant. If you would buy, if you would like to buy this gorgeous crystal, it's again you can buy it from my store, and the link is in the description below. By buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel and keep me going as well. The third important date, my gorgeous Cancerini, it's going to be on the 29th of April. Now, the 29th of April, I'm talking about a little problem that you will have here, you know. A little problem is going to arise, and you're not going to like it because it's just going to make your emotions like a little bit unstable, you know. And these emotions that are going to be unstable, you know, they're going to create like a little problem in itself. But then at the same time, you know, you are going to get a quite interesting advice. You will be told something by, you know, somebody in your life, somebody connected to you again. So that's why I'm saying people in your life are going to be playing an important role when it comes to getting directions. I'm not saying that you should just go like always to ask people in your life for the directions. No, baby, no. But now this is going to be remarkably important and significant because you're going through these powerful stages in your life. And just remember, this is the first stage, and then the second important stage is going to be in July 2021. And it's to do with you planting a little seed, because the advice that you're going to get now, the interesting advice, it's actually going to work for you really brilliantly, because you're going to plant a little seed already without you even realizing, because it's to do with the idea that you are going to have. Completely brilliant idea, and at the same time, you know, it's just basically, it's going to become like a captive in your mind, you know. You're just not going to be able to move on from this, because it's just going to bring you such a colorful energy in your life. And this in itself is going to be remarkable, because, you know, it's just going to start kind of bringing you lots of ideas into your life, and I like it. Okay, on another hand, the 29th of April, it's also going to bring you like a moment of a very strong manifestation. So if you would like to start something, if you would like to send a message to the universe, you know, if then you keep on kind of repeating certain things, you know, try to do like a little bit of a mantra, affirmation. Very, very highly powerful day when it comes to mantras, affirmations, when it comes to meditation, when it comes to grounding, when it comes to having insights, when it comes to the actual true meditation, because we always have certain insights when it comes to meditations, but now this is going to be very strong and very powerful. So therefore there are going to be lots of little messages that are going to be coming to you that you're going to be realizing at the same time. Pay attention to your dreams and pay attention to what was on your mind the very first thing in the morning on the 29th of April 2021. What else I was going to say, you know what, going back within the last 6 or 7 months, you know, you will get like a quite important moment. It's to do with the good news, you know, it's to do with the good news, and it's going back within the last 6 months, you know. It's pretty much so what you have been kind of waiting for, but at the same time, you know, it's about the certain abilities that you're going to realize through this. This is going to be even more important. The certain abilities are going to be super significant when it comes to the new plans, wishes, and also when it comes to the actual hope. You know, this is going to immediately going to be absolutely remarkable when it comes to your own confidence as well, because you're going to make the next step, but it's connected to the uncertain efforts. Before you would like, no baby, no, and now you're just going to go forward. So you see why this time is so important, my gorgeous Cancerini. Look at this. Okay, let's just see this, my gorgeous Cancerini, and this is an oracle card. I just knew that I need to shuffle this and take this out, my gorgeous Cancerini. It's an oracle card, just another little message, you know, what is actually going to be quite important when it comes to the end of April, what to focus on. Wisdom, you see this? An absolutely wise moment. The moment of wisdom, the moment of wiseness is going to redirect you where you should be redirected towards. Just pay attention what the moment of wiseness and wisdom is actually going to bring you. Something is almost immediately going to come to the surface, you know, right in front of you, you know, when you least expect it, you know, the possibility to move on, move forward, you know, that you weren't, you know, realized or recognized so far. Just do things that makes you feel good. Just remember this purification here also, it's pretty much so to do with the confirmation that something is going to come to you through the actual insight when it comes to meditation, or when it comes to like maybe dreams and things like that. So it's really important to pay attention to it. So now, my gorgeous Cancerini, I'm just going to see briefly what is going to happen in the first week of April. Now the first week of April, midweek of April, and the last part of April. So the first week of April is just all about you making an important choice, but then again, you must understand to not to overanalyze, because it's not really good to overanalyze, because very often it affects your balance and it steals your energy. And once that happens, you start seeing things differently, and once that happens, you start feeling things differently, and then you're not too sure what to focus on. So you will know which choice you need to make, but then at the same time you are gonna start realizing that there is a certain clarity that you need to kind of get in order to move forward, you see. And that's the clarity that is just going to be connected to the 21st of April. So it's, you see how it's all connected. Mid-April, just remember, this is the time when you're going to find yourself like kind of like feeling re-energized when it comes to planning and when it comes to focusing on your future. Here you are going to become aware of the kind of like an abundance from past choice, you know, and that in itself is going to be a green light as well. So you will know that it's time to plan. This plan that you're going to have, you know, it's going to be very important. Just pay attention to what is on your mind, what kind of planning mode you are going to find yourself at, because this planning mode, it's actually going to bring you a remarkable success later on. Okay, it's just, see, you're just going to kind of go in this mode, like you want to plan this, you want to plan that. You most certainly should just follow your own third psychic eye energy when it comes to this. The third part of April, my gorgeous Cancerini, is just basically just remember that there is to not block yourself down. Don't slow yourself yourself down. I'm seeing this very strong indication, very strong moment, just to not slow yourself down, because what you're thinking, what you're going to be thinking about here is just like kind of, it's going to be necessary for you to make this certain change in your life. But this change is again going to take time, and it doesn't happen overnight. So it's important to understand that also at the same time you will be uncertain. You will really kind of like, oh no, I can't do it. Just remember that you can do it, you know. This is to do with, again, with what your next step and the next stage, you know, in your life should be. But it's just all about this little courage that you need at the same time. Okay, now my gorgeous Cancerini, I'm just going to see what is going to be your what is going to happen with those of you who are in a relationship. So now, when it comes to those of you in relationship, you know, you just need to be like a two of coins. You just need to be kind of a little bit careful. It's to do with the planning. It's to do with you going on the next step or doing something quite important together. But you need to understand that this April is not the month. Maybe May or June, but not April, because you're going to become aware of somebody, you know, like with a little bit of dishonest, you know, around you. Maybe that person was meant to be part of where you wanted to go, what you wanted to do. Maybe that person was the part of that spiritual bridge, you know. But then again, you need to be careful that, you know, you just need to move away from the certain situation when it comes to some kind of planning. And this third person, you know, it is not a good person. I'm not talking about a friend. I'm not talking about a family member, anybody whom you are emotionally connected, but it's to do with you maybe using somebody else, you and your partner, in order to achieve something, and you just need to move away from that person. And also, when it comes to the dealings and things like that, I would highly suggest you, my gorgeous Cancerinis, when it comes to you and couples, if you two are planning something together, April will not be good. You should do it in May. Very, very important indeed. So therefore, you're going to protect yourself and your partner. Okay, it is not the perfect time to actually start a new project when it comes to you and your partner. You see, when it comes to two of your energies together, when you focus on something like joint, you know. So it's just like this is completely different to your own reading, for example. Okay, so now my gorgeous Cancerini, I'm just going to see what is going to happen to those of you who are single and ready to mingle. Oh, you see, the Magician. This is important for those of you who are single, because things are slowly going to start changing, but it needs to come from you. It's entirely going to come from you. You're going to have a moment this April, very important moment, when you're going to realize that you really are ready to let someone to start coming into your life. And this is going to start taking place in April 2021. This is very important because at the same time you are going to hear quite significant news. And the significant news that you're going to hear, it's going to bring you this victorious moment, but it's pretty much so to do with your own stability, because you were worried, you were wondering, it created lots of uncertainty, it made you feel like really kind of, oh my God, you know, it kind of prevented you with your planning. So now you are actually going to come to an end with that difficult part of your life, and that in itself is just going to trigger something within you. You are going to start focus on the certain part of your life, but this is when it's to do with your own ability. Whatever happens to you, and you enhance yourself in a sense of the ability. If you're working, then it's to do with promotion. If you're working, then it's to do with the next step, next stage. It's to do with the moment in time when you bring something else into your life. This is the time when this person is about to walk into your life. Even if you do not think that it's like, oh no, it's not the time, it's not the time. If you don't think it's not the time, it's not going to happen. So you need to kind of come to terms with your own self, with your higher self, with your own energy, and see where the problem is. Because very often we can block ourselves, you know, from kind of seeing someone or meeting someone, because we subconsciously we block this person from coming into your life. Because first of all, you're gonna have like, ooh la la, quite a womish moment. Something is going to change change, and this is the time, this is the moment, this is the situation I'm talking about. Because when these things happen, this particular situation, when you find yourself like on an advanced stage, whatever your life is, wherever you are, whatever you're doing at the moment, this is the time when this person is about to start walking into your life. They will either make themselves known in April, or they will either make themselves known in May, my gorgeous Cancerinis. But this is purely down to you to allow this person to walk into your life. No, I'm not saying it's your problem, it's your fault that there is nobody there and you really want someone. No, baby, no. I'm just saying about this sacred realization which is going to affect your energy there where it should be affected almost immediately. It's going to start a certain way of planning when it comes to your own manifestation and bringing this person into your life. But at the same time, it's going to trigger lots of other aspects which need to happen first in order to allow this person to walk into your life. My gorgeous Cancerini, indeed. Okay, my gorgeous Cancerini, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I love every single one of you. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, Psychic Medium. Love you. Bye.